Most of the criticism and controversy around the Bible stems from Old Testament stories. That's everything that happened before Jesus showed up on the scene. The story I'll share in this video is one of the most controversial stories in all of Scripture. It's one that you may have been drawn to as a child, but later potentially stirred doubts and questions the more you understood what was really happening. Welcome back to the channel. My name's Brian, and this is Practically Biblical. This channel is all about sharing stories of Scripture and offering practical insights to encourage you to explore the Bible more for yourself. If you're new to the channel, or maybe you just haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Give this video a thumbs up. The more people that like this video, the more people will see this channel and be able to join us in the journey. Enough about that. Let's jump into today's story. The story I referenced in the intro to this video is the story of Noah and the Great Flood. As children, we hear this story about a great man of faith named Noah and his family who built this really big boat and took pairs of really cute animals to save them when the world flooded. But as we grow up and understand what's really happening in this story, we recognize this isn't a children's story at all. In fact, it's jam-packed full of PG-13 and R-rated content that we gloss over in a retelling for children. The world we read about in this story is incredibly messed up. It's a far cry from the world that we read about in Genesis 1:31 that says, "Then God saw all that he had made, and it was very good." This account begins in Genesis 6 as the human population began to grow and spread out across the earth and pursue their own self-interest. And as often happens with more people pursuing their own self-interest, there ended up being more problems and more conflict. It was survival of the fittest. Take what you can get, kill or be killed. It got so bad that by the time we get to the beginning of this story, we read, "The Lord saw that how great the wickedness of the human race had become on the earth, and that every inclination of the thoughts of the human heart was only evil all the time. For some reason, one man stood out among all the rest. His name was Noah, and God asked him to do something incredibly difficult to prepare for what was to come." So maybe the rest of the story is Noah builds this gigantic ark that would save his family and several zoos worth of animals from the coming flood and would then repopulate the newly formed earth. Best estimates tell us that it took Noah between 50 and 75 years to build this ark, all the while being questioned and jeered and laughed at and mocked by the rest of the wicked world. Eventually, the flood came as the waters of the deep burst forth, the floodgates of heaven opened, and rain began to fall. And Noah and his family watched as the corruption of the world and everything in it disappeared below the waters. Noah and his family and all those animals spent approximately 1 full year aboard that ark before it settled and they stepped out onto dry ground for the first time in what was likely an entirely new world. There are understandably a lot of questions surrounding this story. Was this a worldwide flood, or was this a more localized regional flood? How did all these animals fit on this boat? Why would a loving God do something like this? Did this really happen? Or was this an ancient story to help ancient people understand their ancient world? These are all great questions, and I have my own thoughts about these questions, but these are questions that you have to explore for yourself. I encourage you to pick up a Bible, download a Bible app. I'll link a few in the description to this video below, and read for yourself Genesis chapters 6, 7, and 8 about the great flood and this man Noah that God chose to save from the judgment of the world. Thanks for watching. If you haven't done so quite yet, go ahead and give me a thumbs up on this video, subscribe to the channel, and share this and invite others along to join us in this journey that we call Practically Biblical.